Hey everybody, it's Chris down here in Georgia. Hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to do a video about track power, mainly because I had one of my Auto World adjustable transformers die last week, and it's less than a year old. But anyways, want to show you a couple things. You know, I had introduced or done a video about this little voltage cube, this little white thing right here, and that's how I set the voltage on those Auto World adjustable transformers. So, and they're pretty good and they're handy, but after about a year of use, I wanted to show you something that I noticed. You know, I learned long ago dealing with electricity, it's always good to test it. So I did that, and I'm going to show you here what I found. That over time the little cube is become not as accurate. It's still a good reference, it's still easy to use and inexpensive, but just be aware of it if you're using the cube. So I went ahead and set this up at the cube at like 13 volts. And then I put my voltmeter on it, and I want to show you this. So at 13 volts, and there we go, the cube is reading 13.1, but the actual voltage via a voltmeter is 14.5, 14.6. Basically, a volt and a half off, or a volt and a half low, is what the cube is reading. So you need to remember that if you're using this cube and you're setting your voltage, if you want 16, you set it at 14 and a half. And so on down the road. So just wanted to make you aware of that little tidbit that I had discovered. I discovered this a little while ago. I just hadn't done a video on it yet. And here it is. It's a volt and a half. So that being said, you can slot on just knowing that your voltage is going to be a little bit off if you rely solely on the cube. And I imagine each track is a little different. And I apologize for this startup screen, but it took me a minute to get this voltage thing set up to where I didn't have to hold it. And anyway, so you don't have that with those 30 volt, 10 amp, really good power supplies like Viper tracks use and stuff like that. But in retrospect, there we go. And there's the Auto World adjustable transformer. I have one for each lane. So now I have invested in those transformers $96. Well, for $96, for less than $96, I could have put a 30 volt, 10 amp adjustable power supply that had a readout where I didn't need a voltage cube. But at the time, my track was flat over here, and I thought, well, I can't drill holes through this. But I don't really have to. I just take the pigtails off of a couple of cheap transformers. Auto Worlds are like 17 bucks, their standard transformer. And I can plug it right back into my track. And I run a power supply for each lane. That's why I have 2 terminal tracks. But I could use the AFX dual power track to clean it up a little bit if I wanted to. And just connect that via the wire down into the adjustable power supply. And for 60 bucks or so, I would have had dual power. But I learned a lesson. And these are still good to have if somebody's putting it up and taking it down and putting it up and taking it down like on a floor or something. They don't have a dedicated space. That's all fine and grand. And they are a good, viable option to have adjustable power based upon the cars you're running. So that's why I went with the adjustable power. So anyway, that's what I have to say on that. I'm not going to buy another transformer. If another one goes out, I will simply get one of those dedicated adjustable 30-volt power supplies and connect it my way via the little plugs for the track. So, there, I got that off my mind. I like learning stuff. I like seeing how stuff works, what doesn't work, what I could or should have done. It's just part of the hobby that's fun for me to learn and try new things. So, anyways, a while ago, Auto World came out with these Datsun 240Zs. And I thought, oh, I got to get one of those. I remember when they were introduced in the early 70s. And then I saw Brian Young from Pro Tinker Toys. He was coming out with an exclusive. And this was way last year. I thought, I'm going to wait for that one. Because I thought, that's a cool looking 240Z. And it finally came out. And I'm glad it was worth the wait. Here it is. Hold on, let me stand up. Here it is. This is the Brian Young exclusive. You can't hardly see it, but it's got his little American flag on the rear. It's a beautiful car. It really is. I'm glad I waited. Really glad I waited. And I'm going to run it. I saw somebody that had done a video about cars, taking an Auto World car out of the package, putting it on the track and running it, not doing anything to it. So I thought, I'm going to try that with this thing. And I'll be darned if it didn't run just great. So we know the track is set at 14.5 volts. And I'm going to run this at 14.5 volts. But watch how well this car runs. And this, I've done nothing to this car. Well, it was running well. I probably went too fast on that one for that corner. But it's holding the track. It's not making any motor noises, squealing or anything. It's just, I wish I could get the whole track in, but then I got to reset everything. So, check that out. Not bad, huh? Right out of the box. If I get any more Auto World cars where I'm not changing the chassis out, I'm going to run them out of the box. And it's pretty quick. You can't really see how fast some of these Auto World cars are because they don't hold the track that well. And I'm going to run this Woody now. It's a magnet traction 4-gear specialty chassis. And this one's for Mark at Mark's Slot Car Garage. He wondered what would happen if you took those, I don't know if these are Pro 7 or Pro 10, I don't know, magnets from Viper and put them on a standard armature, if it could handle it. Well, guess what, Mark? It can, because this is a standard armature of this thing. And let me get a little warmed up. Look at her go. She's holding the track so much better than it did with the downforce because of the better magnets. Just runs entirely better. So yes, those Pro magnets will work with standard armature on AFX magnet traction cars, which is good to know. You don't have to put a mean green armature in it. I love my 29 Woody. There it comes back to the home. All right, I want to run that. I also want to run this car today. I'm only at 10 minutes. This is an original Aurora model motoring Thunderjet 500. The only thing that's done to it is these little red tires, because they hold better than those little skinny things that came on it. And I put the Pro 10 magnets in it from Viper Scale Racing. It's a little Ford GT. And back in the 60s when they made these cars, these are true HO 187 scale versus some of the 164 scale that are out nowadays. It's small. It's real small. And compare it to a current one, its size. So, but this has no traction magnets. Watch this little beauty go around the track. The only thing holding on the track are those red tires. It still drifts in the corners. But for a 60-year-old slot car, that's pretty darn good. And those magnets really make a difference. Really make a difference. I race this against Auto World cars all day long. Holds the track as well as they do. Okay. All right. That was my fun little car to run. One of my other favorite cars on my track is this. It's the first Auto World car I bought. I bought it because it was Brian's and it was custom. And it's a 56 Ford, which is the year of my birth. And I like it because it's a 4-gear and it's got 2 magnets, so it holds the track better. But with some of these Auto World cars, you gotta really warm them up before you get them going on the track. And some of the older Thunderjet 500s, you have to do the same thing with. Magnet traction, 4 gears. Love this truck. It's pretty fast, it holds the track. This is the thing that made me put all these height extensions on these bridge supports so this could go around. There we go. It also made me put track clips in my banked curve over here. It was, it's heavier than regular cars, and because of the speed, it was pushing the track apart. So I had to get track clips. But the track clips actually worked out pretty well for me, because when I took the track apart to put this grass and cork underneath it, clipping it all together made it connect a lot easier than it was when I initially set the track up. Alright, so let's bring this one home. That's it for running my some cars today. I'll just show you a couple things. I built some of those racetrack scenics buildings. There's one. That little Marshall stand came out pretty good. And here's the other one. This is that race tower from Nuremberg or whatever. I thought it was Nuremberg, but it's not. And these are the all laser cut wood. I painted that part white with the Continental on it because that's the way it is in the picture of the real thing. And then Kevin over there at Racetrack Scenics is great to deal with. I had one of the parts was bad. I couldn't put it together, so he sent me one out like the next day, and then he included all these extra graphics. The two bottom ones, the two top ones, well, you know, I got those from an AFX sticker pack, and then got the stairway over here. You've got the garage over here. We put 6 cars in there. And then I finished, I haven't cleaned it up yet, but I finished reworking the chassis for this old rigging truck. It's kind of cool. It's really lightweight. It's got an old brass chassis underneath it. But unfortunately, it's too tall to run under my track, especially down there. So, anyway, there's some of the new stuff and what I want to show you about power. So, thanks for watching. For those subscribed, thanks for subscribing. I'll never ask for a subscription or a like or a share, because I'm only doing this for the fun of it. I'm not doing it to get X amount of subscribers or make any money. I just enjoy this hobby so much I want to share it with as many people who want to see what's been going on. So again, there's the view of the track. I got to put some of the AFX fencing on that corner. I've flown a few cars over there. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.